to the Pikes Peak Diecast Rally Championship.
Well, I guess that's it. Party's over.
Nah, I'm sorry, Ted. You know, the party's gotta end sometime.
Whatever.
It's just a shame that we didn't have enough money to keep the band around for the finals. But hey, the finals are gonna be epic, right?
Yeah, sure, epic.
Ted, you don't sound too excited. What's going on, man?
I've been reminiscing about the days of old with my band Cyberdyne Chaos. Those were the days. The roadies, the van life, the wind in my vents. I miss it. I miss it, EP.
Well, sorry, Ted. I'm not sure what to do in these weird, awkward moments. Let's go ahead and introduce you to those drivers. We have Papa Pugsley, Numbskull, Crazy Canuck, and Sneaky Bob. Wait, Ted, what are you doing?
I'm on a path now, a journey to bring the band back together.
No, Ted, get out of the bus.
You don't know me. You're not my father. It's time to pursue my destiny.
And he left. I guess I'm gonna have to take the high road on this one.
Did someone say take the high road?
Theodore from the Skyway? What are you doing here?
I heard you might need a co-host, and since the Skyway's quiet for now, I thought I'd lend a hand.
Well, I am sure glad to see you. Our first driver in the tournament is the real Crazy Canuck, driving for White Knuckle Racing, weighing in at 80 grams.
Next up, we have Papa Pugsley. This driver continues to impress us with his flawless driving. He's a force to be reckoned with.
Then we have Ted's favorite, Numbskull, driving for Numbskull Racing, weighing in at a fat 95 grams.
Last but not least, we have Sneaky Bob, always on the lookout for an opportunity to capitalize. Sneaky Bob is known for his cunning maneuvers and strategic driving. A stellar lineup, true titans of the sport, who today will earn the title of champion.
Kicking off lap number 1 out of 8, sitting in that pole position in that white Lancer Evo is Papa Pugsley, and he drives for Manchild Motorsports.
Pugsley with a nose out in front, out to the 90, Numbskull punching it, passing into the tunnel.
Ooh, watch out, here comes Numbskull, pedal to the metal.
A huge jump by Numbskull, launching him further into the lead. Canuck hits the wall as the gaps widen into the 270.
Numbskull's not letting up, increasing his lead. Can anyone stop this guy?
There's simply no one else in sight.
And it appears Numbskull has smooth sailing all the way to the finish.
Could have sworn he had a faster time than that.
Yeah, that track time definitely isn't right. We need some technicians to take a look at our timer. As we take a look back on this replay, Numbskull already setting the bar high as he robs Papa Pugsley of that pole position. What a great start to the finals.
Oh yes, it's quite the statement of strength to the rest of the group.
You know, I can't help but notice the huge gaps between the drivers in this first lap. If this continues, Numbskull's gonna have this one in the bag.
I've yet to see someone simply keep up, but my heart skips a beat when he hits those jumps. His forward weight placement, the nose dives, it leaves room for error and a potential overtake.
And after lap 1 in the lead, we have Numbskull, Papa Pugsley, Crazy Canuck, and in last, Sneaky Bob. Kicking off lap number 2, sitting in that pole position is Numbskull, driving for Numbskull Racing.
Numbskull ahead, taking advantage of that inside lane. Pugsley too, once again way ahead of the group. Over the jump, Numbskull flips!
Oh, Numbskull overcooked the landing.
Pugsley now in the lead, Bob needs to punch it.
Papa Pugsley takes the lead into the second jump. A little sideways.
Oh, hit by Bob.
We have some gridlock.
Truly a shaky single file headed now into the final turn. Pugsley accelerating, ensuring victory.
First place Papa, second place Sneaky, third place Crazy Canuck. Now, as we take a look back on this replay, all eyes are now focused in on Numbskull as he had that incredible first lap. I think his nerves just got to him as he had this open lane, open road, and he just sends it straight to his roof.
Just devastating for Numbskull.
Well, at least he had the courtesy to get off the track for the other 3 drivers.
How kind of him. Look, it's a razor's edge out there, and everyone's riding it because everything is on the line.
You know, it is understandable that these drivers are under a lot of pressure. I mean, this is the finals. They have fought tooth and nail to get here.
You're so right, EP, and these drivers are going for broke every time, all in the name of victory.
Taking a look at those scores, Papa Pugsley in the lead with 8 points, Numbskull with 5, and Crazy Canuck and Sneaky Bob tied with 4. Beginning lap 3, sitting in that pole position is Sneaky Bob, driving for Vapor Racing.
And they're off. Numbskull breathing down Bob's neck.
And take a look at that. Sneaky Bob getting his second win.
Uh-oh, Numbskull's growing impatient. Out of the tunnel, look at that.
You know what? I think you're right, Teddy. Numbskull is pushing him down the track.
Something tells me Sneaky Bob's okay with that.
And here comes Sneaky Bob into jump number 2. Can he fend off Numbskull to the finish?
It's just the two of them down into the final turn. Will Numbskull hit with a final sprint?
Sneaky Bob first, second place Numbskull, third place Crazy Canuck, and last place Papa Pugsley. You know, at first I thought Bob snuck off for a little tune-up after lap number 2, but clearly Numbskull was pushing him down through the track. He could not find that open lane.
There is something to be said for Sneaky Bob's ability to stay out in front. He's got Numbskull nipping at his heels at every turn. Any wrong move would have meant defeat, but he held on. It's impressive. And even at the finish, Numbskull was jumping to pass. This is a win well deserved.
And before we move into lap 4, let's take a look at those scores. Currently tied for first, Papa Pugsley and Sneaky Bob with 9, Numbskull with 8, and Crazy Canuck 6. Kicking off lap 4, sitting in that pole position is the real Crazy Canuck coming in from Canada, driving for White Knuckle Racing. Group staying tight out of the 90.
Canuck with the lead into the tunnel.
Watch out, here comes Papa. Papa takes the lead over the jump, right behind him, Numbskull to take second place.
Canuck shaky.
Papa Pugsley's a little squirrely. And take a look at that. He goes nose to nose, staring down his competition.
Looking deep into Numbskull's eyes, Pugsley determined. Numbskull jumps to pass, but blocked by Pugsley. Down the final straight, the final blitz.
Whoa, what a tight group at the finish line. All I can tell you is Papa Pugsley took first.
Canuck was really reaching for that second place.
Well, according to our scoreboard, Papa takes first, second place goes to Numbskull, and third place, Crazy Canuck, but we're gonna need to confirm that with the finish line cam.
Ooh. Do you mean to suggest there are more cameras? More than we've already seen?
That's right, Teddy. We installed one more camera just to make sure that we didn't miss anything at the finish line.
It's a good idea given the racing so far today.
Now, I know this angle doesn't give you the best perspective for placement finishes, so we're going to switch to the overhead cam.
Beautiful shot. Yep, it's Numbskull, but Canuck so very close. I love the drama.
Let's go ahead and get into the second half of the Pikes Peak Rally Tournament 2.0. Kicking off lap number 5, back in the pole position is Papa Pugsley in that white Evo driving for Manchild Motorsports. Papa Pugsley pushing ahead. No, watch out, here comes Numbskull.
Like lightning.
Numbskull secures first place, second place Papa Pugsley.
Numbskull never fails to amaze me.
Numbskull still holding a nice lead out from the group. Can he hold it to the finish?
Pugsley and Canuck tasked with closing the gap, but it ain't gonna happen this time. Here comes Numbskull to the finish.
First place Numbskull, second place Papa, third place Crazy.
Is that it?
And where is Sneaky Bob?
Whew. Oh, he's backwards.
I thought we were going to have another DNF.
I have to say, the preview for your upcoming tournament was fantastic. I've got chills, EP. So good.
Oh yeah, Ted and I are so excited for the initial D tournament. We put it up on redlinederby.com and we had a wonderful response from builders and drivers. We cannot wait to show you these cars.
I cannot wait. It's going to be a blockbuster tournament, and what an honor to be able to race on this track.
You know, any of you watching the show today can become a Diecast racer. Just visit redlinederby.com, sign up, build your car, and join a race today. Taking a quick look at those scores, currently in the lead, Papa Pugsley with 17, Numbskull 16, Sneaky Bob 11, and Crazy Canuck 10. Kicking off lap number 6, sitting in the pole position in that red trophy McGinn is Numbskull, driving for Numbskull Racing. Numbskull pulling ahead of the group. increasing his lead into the tunnel and down to the jump.
So fast, but he better be careful. Thank goodness he lands it.
Wow, Numbskull is like a bolt of lightning.
Pugsley spun round.
And here comes Numbskull yet again, no one challenging as he rips on down through the track and into the finish line.
This is unreal, this speed. Look at that.
Whoa, 14.69. I think that's a new track record.
Wow, so glad to have witnessed that. Oh, look, he's on the board twice for fastest time. Racing cars with vastly different weights. The guy's got range.
Well, we have another incredible first place finish by Numbskull, and if we take a look at his scores, it appears that he's fully recovered from that DNF in lap number 2, now leading the pack with 21 points, followed closely by Papa Pugsley. Now, if he can maintain this momentum in the next 2 laps, I think he can bring home this win.
I think you might be right. However, Canuck and Sneaky Bob will need a miracle, and soon.
And let's go ahead and take a look at those scores. Currently in the lead, Numbskull 21, Papa Pugsley 20, Sneaky Bob 13, and Crazy Canuck 11. Kicking off lap number 7, sitting in that pole position is Sneaky Bob, driving for Vapor Racing.
And they're off. Numbskull nudging Sneaky Bob through the 90. We saw this last time. Look at that, way out ahead now. Over the jump they go, landing, thank goodness. Numbskull relentless, hits the wall over the edge, oh no!
Oh my gosh, Numbskull just launches off the cliff. I have never seen that before here at Pikes Peak.
Oh my goodness, Sneaky Bob all alone in the lead, taking his time, uncontested across the finish, followed by a slow, Crazy Canuck.
Man, the way these drivers are rolling through the finish line, let's hope this is not a funeral procession for Numbskull.
Oh no, it's true.
I am very curious to see what happens in this replay.
I'm afraid Numbskull's relentless intimidation game was only ever going to end in tragedy. Oh, I can't look away.
Well, to me, it looks like Numbskull was going for the pass, overcorrects into the wall, and then 720 spins off the cliff.
Oh, wow, I guess it was a 720.
You know, it reminds me a lot of that 1080 snowboarding game on Nintendo 64.
N64, yes.
Yeah, you could just launch off of any cliff and pull a 1080.
Never waste a chance to pull a fancy trick, even if you're plummeting off a cliff. That's Numbskull's mantra, I think.
Oh wow, look at that. Numbskull saved by a tree. Most drivers here just get taken out by trees.
It's a welcome change of pace then. I think the finals are stressful enough. It would be nice to know at least the trees are on our side.
And this brings us to the last lap of the tournament. Sitting in that pole position is the real Crazy Canuck, driving from White Knuckle Racing.
And they're off. The group staying very close.
Crazy Canuck trying to push ahead.
Closing the gap in the tunnel.
Here comes Papa Pugsley and even Numbskull to overtake.
Everyone lands.
Papa Pugsley holding the lead. Can he hold it through the second jump?
Here we go out of the 270. He lands it, staying out in front.
Numbskull is hot on his tail all over the back of Papa Pugsley. Can't Papa hold it to the finish line?
Numbskull pushing down the last straight. Woo!
Papa Pugsley takes first.
Followed by Numbskull, Canuck, and Sneaky Bob in last.
That last and final lap was intense. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Me too. And this jump pass by Numbskull, it's the stuff of action heroes. And once past Canuck, Numbskull sets his sight on the lead, closing the gap into the 270, chasing down Pugsley.
Papa Pugsley knows that when he needs to make it count, he buckles down and he gets the job done.
That's right, Pugsley doesn't falter under pressure, even with Numbskull, the epitome of pressure, breathing down his neck, even down to the finish line, but Pugsley holds on.
Well, there you have it. Papa Pugsley is the winner of the Rallycross Championship 2.0.
Let's go!
And we want to give a special thanks to all the drivers who helped in the Rallycross tournament. Numbskull, Crazy Canuck, and Sneaky Bob.
That right there is a champion, an artist in his own right in speed and precision. Congratulations, sir.
And Theodore, I wanted to give you a special shout out for helping in Ted's absence. Let's hope this band thing is just a phase.
It's a pleasure and a privilege, EP, anytime.
If you enjoyed today's show, don't go away. Stick around. We have a lot more Diecast Racing just ahead.